Yo, me people wagwan. You don't know we have on the chopping board tonight. See me I say Mutabaruka. And you don't know say a cutting edge style. Just do the right thing and share the video, like the video, and do what you have to do. You understand?
One Uptown TV. Yo, enough there, me I represent. Da, 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 da.
FM will there with you next Wednesday. We go until 2 a.m. Hope you can stay with big artists in Ivory Coast. Big. Far and wide, and that's good. Long time you don't hear a youth rise up like that. You know, the days them have the youth them, it give you Patrice Lumumba, Jomo Kenyatta, Kwame Nkrumah. You know, all of these people rise up from them time there and make them mark. But this youth, this time, is a phenomenon. Because most of the youth them right now, them not interested in changing things. Them want to stay in the rut and stay as though them come sittings instead of tangle the wheel. Flip-flopping is not something that we should give credence to. And it's whole heap of youth, even in Jamaica, them last, man. Glad to see a youth come wake it up, yes. The Arabs don't want to help the Palestinians cross the border. I don't know why, and them so are going. The Israeli them start a next war with the Iranian them. Yeah, them start a next war, them kill off some of the big man them down there. And I beg Donald Trump to drop the big, how much 1,000-pound ton bomb, which part them supposed to have build the weapon of mass destruction. Hey, you remember where them do with Saddam, saying they have weapons of mass destruction, and them invade Iraq. Whole heap of people, thousands of people dead, including American. Only if you realize the man never have no weapons of mass destruction. I wonder if it's the same thing I go reach them. Because the Israeli them are beg Donald Trump for coming out of the war, which mean they are ready. So we're going to see what happens, you know. Because, may I tell you, the Iranians, them, it's not like the Iranians how much years ago when them did a fight Iraq. Yes, it's not the same Iranian, you know. So, if you watch what them are do, because we don't want it spread over here, so, you know. Yeah, if you don't mind sharp, it spread over here, so, too. Things are our way for spreading, especially when it's a bad thing. Yeah. So you want to know, Debbie the Fire. We're going to play Debbie the Fire. Here we go. Little one, we're going to see how long it takes to fade out, like Rocksteady. Because the dance are really gone away there, yeah. Every other week, we hear of an artist will leave with terrible thing. All right. Windrush. I could see where I'm going there, so I could play what is tune and see where I'm going there. I cause so much mischief. It hurt, yeah. Trust me, man. Enough things surround him. Enough things. So you know, supposed to have an interview here, but well, 2 interviews we have still, but one supposed to come now, but it's not there. So I'll just continue the journey. This, we'll tell you about the artist who passed away. We never tell him name a while ago, but Leroy Gibbons, for those of you who don't hear, Leroy Gibbons passed away. Yes, that's a serious thing. Every other week, we hear of an artist who gone left way. You know, Leroy Gibbons, the last time I seen him perform was for Rebel Salute. And he was on Rebel Salute the year before too. And I think he was on it the year before too. Yes, because he always get a good response on the stage. Well, dapper. Yes, dapper, well dapper on stage. Who I yell up him family and him friends all over the world who know say him fuse reggae and dancehall. And him is a cover man. When I say cover man, I mean say him take a whole heap of foreign tune and do them on 2 cards with him. Jamaican artists is the only artist who do them something like that. We take foreign tune where have whole heap of this and whole heap of that music in there. And them sing it on a 2 card with him. Yes. And Mr. Gibbons was one of them who, anytime you hear him, man, most of the tune them when him sing a cover version, most of the tune them. And it's really amazing to know, say, Jamaican people can do that. Any tune where you get Jamaican to sing, which, whether it's a serious soul song, a disco song, any song where you get Jamaican to sing, and give them 2 cards. They just show it by the 2 cards, said, yeah, look here. And they must sing, you know who good with that too? Oh gosh, I still get him name, but Jamaican artists do that. Foreigners can't do it. Because they don't know how to twist them voice. They don't know how to twist them voice. Yes, Sanchez. I don't see my Bible name. Sanchez. Sanchez have the art of twisting foreign tune, man, and make it sound like a female. Yeah, and this bridging here, me I tell you, him not easy. Like all that tune, you know, that tune, when him sing that tune, I would one go to feel say a film tune. How the tune come up? Hey, where you deal with? Tune? Okay, here goes. Listen to this tune. I hope people feel, if you're not old like me, you're not going to know it's a whole tune. She loved me with all her heart. So, Leroy Gibbons. Yes, that is him live. King Jammy, yes. King Jammy, that big producer for this Virginia, yeah. Make it easy. That Virginia, trust me, man. Him can't take all the tunes them where you hear me play already. Him can't do all of them back on the rhythm, yeah. Yeah, man, that's him still. Wow, Cupid, I don't want to bother you, but I'm here. No, nobody but me, hey. Whether it depend vinyl, whether it depend jump drive, a little more, anything where them go discover and do for preserve music, depend, all them tunes you're going to get preserved on it. Yeah, man. Leroy Gibbons. We're going to take a break. And we have an interviewer come forward here. Break time. We could go out at the shows. We have an interview with our sister who, I'm going to say, 30 odd years now, she had do a festival in Canada. With no people from Jamaica go up there, go do them thing. And it's not just music. It involves a whole heap of things. So we're going to make you tell you about it. Why yell up?
Yell up.
I catch you though, I catch you.
Muta.
Hey, they might call you and answer your phone, you know. You go forget to lift, you know.
No, I'm answer the phone, man. Let me start.
When you answer? Today?
Today, yes.
It's a long time she call her in answer.
No, man. 2 times she called me, man said two. She called me 3 times, man said 2 times.
Then the first time you never answer then.
The first time, answer the second and third time. Anyway, I'm here now.
Yeah, man. Give thanks, man. All right. So, we could ask you now, how much years you had to this thing, or tell me?
All right. So here's the thing. Rastafest is 32 years old.
Wow.
Masada production is 45 years old. However, the Rasta activity in Toronto that I've been involved with from 1977. So you're talking more than 45 years.
No, I'm telling you, your name Masani, you know. Sorry if you don't remember your name. Not remember your name, but call your name. Masani, the sister named Masani we are talking about.
Yes. Well,
yeah, so it's 30 odd years.
32 years Rastafest, 45 years Masani production, but from 1977. Really from 1977 we had the Rasta work, and that's because from 1975, when Bob Marley came to Toronto, you know, the handful of Rastas went through a lot of persecution.
Oh, yeah?
From 75, when Bob Marley come to Toronto, 3 days after the Bob Marley concert, for 1 full week, the media, the police, immigration, laws of vicious attack on the Rasta community in Toronto.
Why?
Well, I mean, remember back in 85, you know, I mean, what I did, they imported a lot of negative things from New York. So if one did remember what was happening in New York back in 1985 with the Rasta community and some dreadlocks people had committed some crime. They said Rasta time bomb, Rasta they explode, Rasta terrorists. We were the terrorists back then in 85, you know. When they talk about and so forth. They talk about terrorists. Now, so all that this kind of have an impact on the handful of Rasta in Toronto after Bob Marley visit. So from 85 and coming up, no, we might talk 85, 75. We might talk 75. No, man, 1975 we are talking about, not 85.
Yeah. Well, come there in the early 90s, come to show me and my band, come to a couple show. Many times still, but that time in the 90s, early 90s.
The 90s when things cool down.
Yeah.
When it's hot, them time in the 70s, man. Well, 75, 76, 77, 78, coming up 79, Rasta in Toronto, Rasta in New York. I'm sure things are happening in Jamaica, but New York and Toronto very much intertwined, you know.
Yeah, because Jamaican vibes.
Yeah, because not one to realize it, but you know, Toronto has the 3rd largest Jamaican population in the world. You know. Outside of Jamaica, I think New York is 2nd and England is 1st. But Toronto, we have the 3rd largest Jamaican population in the world. So whatever happened, what's happening in New York, what's happening in Toronto on a smaller scale, and ones that run from New York come to Toronto do things, and people that leave from Toronto go to New York. So Toronto and New York are intertwined.
Maybe I want to make Trump want to colonize, you know. Make the 51st state.
Just take away the border, you'll never become a 51st state,
so
you know.
They say a false line. People don't sit down there and just draw a straight line.
You know, America is running across the border now. Well, by the 51st state, I don't
they never run left America.
Of course.
Yeah. Me about that. All right, tell me about the festival now. Cause I think at one time you come up the feet already, or 2 times.
Yes, you did. You came in 2006.
Oh, yeah?
2006. No, 2007. And I tell you why. 2006 was Tony Rebel. Tony Rebel came 3 times already, you know. Tony Rebel come 2 times in 2006. August 2006, September 2006. And then you came 2007.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, York University. And then 20 years, so many artists, too many to call. I mean, Mighty Diamond.
Yeah, I know that. I know.
So many. Enough.
All right, so what happened this year now?
This year now, what is it now? It's a 5-day celebration. So it's a revisit of the 82 conference, 83 conference, 84 conference, and then the Rastafest itself. So in 1982 was the first international Rasta conference. In 1983, the second international conference was held in Jamaica. In 1984, we have Voice of Thunder with Bongo Water, Ras Island, Ras Ayentan in 84 at York University. So what we're doing, we're revisiting those early gathering of Rastas, and not one talk about RITA conference And forget that before the RIT in 82 was in 82 in Toronto. So we have the conference August 13 and 14 at York University, and then the festival is August 15, 16, and 17. So it's 5 days. And why we do the conference and the festival? Because enough one come a Rastafest enjoy it as a concert. However, they don't know about the Rasta. So we have make sure they have the educational component.
Yeah, not just at a reggae festival.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get away from it being a reggae fest. We have good shows, I must say. We have good concerts. Yeah. Last year was Levi Sibbles and all that. And we have a good concert, but I'm trying to move away from it being a reggae concert. When you hear Rastafest, I mean, you come experience Rasta culture.
Yeah. Rasta, yeah.
Yeah, you want to learn more the liberty, the culture, the history. Mm-hmm. So the first 2 days, educate them through, information on the conference at York University, and it's been hosted by Sterlac. And why I mentioned Sterlac now, Sterlac is the Center for Latin American and Caribbean Studies. Okay. It's a research center at the university. And then the 3 days now at Little Jamaica. Now, Little Jamaica is very important in the Muta, because here's what's happening now. They gentrified in the 70s, Jamaicans used to have an area called Eglinton. Now it's being gentrified. You know what I mean? They have knocked down building, build up condo, bringing subways, black people again, move out.
Like Harlem. Like
Harlem and Bronx.
And Brixton in England. Yeah.
So Little Jamaica, city, so the area that we are keeping the festival is called Little Jamaica. Studio M, my business is in Little Jamaica. I'm also on the director for the area in that Little Jamaica, because you see, the subway going to open in September. Condos are being built up. You're talking millions of people moving in, because, of course, where there's a subway, there's money. But what about the black people in the 70s who helped build the Jamaicans who built in that area? So that's why it's called Little Jamaica, The area is actually called about it. Yeah. So that's where the festival is going to be for 3 days. Okay. So the 2 days we have the reasoning. And the night time we have the reasoning in the black community in Little Jamaica. So it's a day and night program. And then the
when you say the reasoning, what do you mean? When you say the reasoning?
Well, you see, the conference at York University attract a lot of students and academics. However, the community now, we want to make sure that the community also has access to that reasoning, that information, that knowledge. Okay. So that session I'm going to be in the Little Jamaica community. Okay. So I'm going to say reasoning, like a gathering, and so forth. Because again, remember now, we still have to work with the black community in Little Jamaica, which may not be at the conference in the daytime at York University. That's what I'm saying, community reasoning. So it's a gathering of reason and information, and I've also a Rasta exhibition. So we're going to have things about the Rasta culture on it throughout the 5 days to educate ones about it. Again, remember now, I try to move away from it being a reggae concert.
Reggae concert, yeah. All right, let me ask you something. Because I must say, the brethren, who you have a look about them visa thing there, I tell you, man, the man come like a computer, man. The man efficient. Till him can't efficient no more, man. Just me. All right, so you know, are so much people you carry up there?
Well, we have different relationship with different ones, as you know, in Jamaica. Yeah. When it comes to women, I'm talking Rastafest. So Rastafari Indigenous Village. Yeah. Rastafari Indigenous Village are first man. So about 5 ones from Rasta Village.
First man and Virgin them.
But we have a cultural exchange program between Rasta Indigenous Village and Rastafest. Okay. So, I mean, for a long time, about 10, 12 years, we have been having this. Man. So, they're overdue, They should have been here coming up like 5 years ago. They got the visa much time there. So, they're really overdue for this. So, and we also do things at Rasta Village too. Last month, for example, we brought artists from Toronto to Rasta Village. So we have that cultural exchange program between Rasta Village and Rastafest. So that group is coming up. Michael Barnett, of course, is coming up. Emmanuel Tafari, and the list goes on. Rasquazi, the Mother Moses, and so forth. And
she tell me that the other night we come from Junior Biles thing, and she tell me that she come up the toe.
Well, Mother Moses is no stranger to Rastafest. She has been here
I know. She's not stranger to nothing at all. She's not stranger to nobody, nothing. Yes.
Yeah, but apart from that, though, you're supposed to know, we kind of belong to the same organization, Emperor Zion. So the Emperor Zion organization has been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm part of it, and Madam Moses is part of it too. So, yes, we have a relationship that way too, through the organization.
Okay.
So, yeah. So quite a few ones coming up. We're working with the Rasta community in Toronto. Of course, Rastafest is not for the people who look like Rasta. When I say look like Rasta, now them say, well, if you have luck, it's a roots and culture festival. So everyone come to Rastafest. Muslim, Christian, Jew, everybody come to Rastafest. It's a roots and culture festival. Kind of one about the Rasta culture kind of thing. Okay. And I must say, Muta, in the 32 years we have had the fest, we have never hired police to come to the festival.
Mm-hmm.
Never. You know why? Because we use the music as our security. Okay. We don't do the dance, we don't do the flatness, we don't do none of that. We don't do certain heights.
I think do that, man. A Rastafest name couldn't do that.
No, but yeah, some dreadlocks people who that them things that too.
No, but the title of the festival, Rasta Festival, it can't have where you tell me say you don't have. It have and
that's why certain dreadlock artists should never be hired for Rastafest. They will not be hired. I mean, to be on the festival is very exclusive. We're very exclusive as a whole book, yeah. But it's a good look this year, 5 days. A lot of ones coming up for it. We really want to make sure that after 32 years, it's become a more Rasta fest as opposed to a reggae concert kind of thing. So the reason going to be a big part of it, drum making, craft. I have to mention something. We're pushing the Rastafest marketplace because we do have a lucrative marketplace. So people who can't make it up, like craft artists who cannot make it up, can give art and their craft to ones who are coming up, and we'll sell it at the festival.
When you leave? When you leave? Today, no, not today. I said today. When you leave?
Listen to me. Tomorrow this time I'm in Toronto.
Which part you there?
Right now, with the orchard.
I want to get something to carry. I want to get something to carry. I don't know what you there.
So why don't want to give it to me?
No, because I know that you talk about that. I say, right, we should have give you Uchi, you don't come back at town at all. I'm going to be here, go take the plane.
I'm flying from Mobile tomorrow, man. I was in Kingston yesterday. I was in Leonard Howard.
Yeah. So you don't come back before that. Then.
It's my second trip for the day. To be honest with you, for the year. To be honest with you, I really tend not to leave Toronto close to the festival.
All right, you know. Tell me who I go when you reach up. Tell me who I come. Me give them something to carry for me.
But everyone I come at the same time, you come.
Yeah, they know that. Me I say, yeah. Me one can't carry, me I carry.
Well, reach out to First Man. First Man. I want 5-1 some Rasta Village come to Rastakura.
Yeah.
Michael Barnett. Madam Moses.
Yeah, maybe Madam Moses. Because she didn't near me.
Talking about that, as you mentioned, Carol, what about the book? You know, launch a book at Rastafest in Toronto. That puts it out there,
We would have to talk to the publisher for that, but we talk about my something. When me
so the book is not your something.
Well, I'm my something, but I don't me publish it.
So what?
So we have to talk to the publisher. You see, them have a thing I go on with a book there because them can't get it print. If somebody up there order it, them can print it in Canada same time and them get it.
Okay, so print on demand.
Yeah, if somebody up there would have to go tell Ian Randall publish it.
All right, so here what you do then. Send me the information, we'll contact them because we definitely need to have the book at the university as well as
Yeah, because we have a big launch up at Rotterdam, you know. Big launch at Rotterdam.
So you know what, a big launch at Rastafest.
Yeah, but me don't say no. When I tell you, say the person who have it at Rotterdam or the people them who actually write it.
Okay.
See, it's the University of Austria. Some student at University of Austria they put it together with a professor. So that is why it get in a Rotterdam. I now get it in a London. We do a big launch in a London because the man who did it up a London talk to Randall and them get it up the film on the spot. And so if somebody want it up there, they would have to go talk to Randall and Randall know how to get it print up there same time.
Not a problem. I'm also attached to the university, so y'all can...
All right, we're not going to send you the information. We have to move now, though. We're going to send you the information, all right?
Yes.
So we talk before them time there?
Yes, we'll talk before August.
All right, give thanks.
Give thanks.
Yeah, my son, man, hard-working daughter.
It's the energy of...
And that is where we did find out with Ian Randall, the publisher there, when him say, I tell him something about England and the African who say, him have, well, not him have it, but him work with 5 bookstore up there. And me I say, me not carry no book, but they don't graduate them woolly pa book there. Him say him want some books, so me give him the address for Ian Randall. And when we reach up there, him say him get the book there, me say, oh, you get the book. Him say, you know, the amount what you want, you get it up there. When me go to the man say about 200 of the book them, you know, me I say, there's so much book you take, man. By the time we reach the 4th bookstore, you know, him say him not sell no more. Because him not gonna have none for the 5th bookstore. And by the time we reach the 5th bookstore, that is it. None of them no left. I tell you, say, this modern day technology thing, it not stop you so man, because the book them actually reach up there before me. Yeah, the book them actually up there. When we go to the first bookstore, I see the book them in the store there, about 200 of them in order from Ian Randall down here. And down here I'm doing it, you know. Ian Randall just call, so by my call up there. And just get it done. Well, I see him here with Astra too. Them print it up there, any country where you're there. And you want your book them. See them here with America. You just, the publisher just go so bam bam, and them just, the book them, and you just, when you're up there, the book them reach before you, and they said there. Science and technology, not easy. Okay, so we're done with that. Here we go.
Came to Egypt, otherwise called the Hyksos, in 1675 BC. The Africans there were already in the 13th dynasty period. They had built every pyramid you saw there before. They had done the S-turn in the Nile. They built every one of the major temples that had already been built, including the Grand Lodge of Luxor. The first European to come there did not arrive until the Greeks arrived with Alexander II, the son of Philip of Macedonia.
Look, I'm a college graduate. I never heard all this stuff before.
Because they didn't intend to teach you that. They can't tell you that you're inferior and teach you that you taught Egypt, Europe. The first Europeans to be civilized by the Africans were the Greeks. When you heard of Homer, the first European to have written anything, you couldn't miss that. They said that Homer wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey. And that was not until 833 BC. The Africans had already in 255,000 at the Tassili Mountain. They had the Sibyllian period, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, the pre-dynastic period, all the way up. The Africans had produced men like this, Imhotep, the multi-genius that designed the step pyramid of Saqqara, the first man to be a physician that even Hippocrates, the so-called father of medicine, is giving him credit and calling him the god of medicine. The Greeks changed his name from Imhotep to Esculapius. There he is.
Break time right now where it's not lovely, it's not lovely. And this group of people, let's say them are Israeli, have 2 wars going on at the same time now. One of them are wipe out the Palestinians them out of the land, and 2 of them are bomb Iran. Now, I hear a passing in Jamaica. I tell Jamaican black people who don't know better, say the people them in Israel and make way for the return of Jesus. The Israel, the people them who call themselves Israeli, Netanyahu and him friend them, and make a way for Jesus' return. Because that is the place where Jesus is going to return. That is what the pastor them I tell the people them in a Jamaica. Now, if you know the history of those people, you'd have never say that. Because, especially when you go, watch a man, me and Tony, I go through the airport, man. Why you love Tony Rebel, you know? Me and Tony Rebel, I go through the airport. Everybody in the airport we said them are Israeli. You know which part them come from? Russia and Germany. Just like how most of the white people, them when they start out, a kill off the Native American, them on Turkey Island. Irish people, a runway from whatsoever that take place in England and all these places, and come and go into England. Start going to Turkey Island there, and kill off the Native American, them and push them on some dry place, and them call it Indian Reservation. Now, for those of you who read the Bible, no, say, Israel in the Bible is a man named Israel. It's a man named Israel. And his name was Jacob, according to the Bible. Before that, he was called Jacob. And Jacob had 12 sons and 1 daughter. And Israel, who was called Jacob, traveling, and the angel of the Lord come to Jacob. And he fought with the angel. This is what going on now in the Bible. He have a fight with the angel. And when him done fight with the angel, guess what? Him win the fight. The Bible says him fight with the Lord, you know. Him fight with the Lord, that the Bible say, at least the one when me read, say, him fight with the Lord and him overcome. And him will get a blessing now, him say, him name Jacob, and the Lord say, from that day on, you have fought and overcome, so you shall be called Israel. Israel is a man. Israel had 12 sons and 1 daughter. And out of those 12 sons come the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12, them never give the woman no stand in the night. Never give the woman no stand. She named Dinah, according to the Bible. So she have 12 sons. It's not she, I mean Israel have 12 sons. A different woman have them for two. Anyway, Israel start out as a man, and we kind of have 12 sons, and the 12 sons them disperse all over that part of the world. Him now become at Israel, the tribe of Israel is the sons of Israel. The sons of Israel is the tribe of Israel. The son, Jacob, son Israel. Israel have 12 sons, and out of that dynasty of sons come the Israelites, meaning say it's the sons of Israel, the man Jacob. Now, as it go down, it starts to become now a place. It become a place, the land of Israel. You see, when the Bible talk about the land flowing with milk and honey, it was the land of the Canaanites. God, according to the Bible, God sent the people them to take over the land, kill all the people them when they take them land. That is the promised land, according to where them I say. The promised land is the land of the Canaanites, the land flowing with milk and honey. So they move out the land, the people them off of the land of Canaan, and take over the land and say, God give them the land there. Follow the story, you know, because if you don't believe me, go ask your pastor what I talk about, or go into the Bible for yourself and read it. So this man, when named Israel, become the representative of a nation of people called the Israelites. The Israelites. Not Israeli. The Israelites. The people them who was supposed to have been the Israelites is not the same people them were in Israel now. Non-apologetically we have said that. Them is not them. These people is people who did live in a Russia and Germany, and after the World War, them start to make place to move, because I remember the Russian them, and millions of Russians dead in the Second World War, you know. Millions. I mean, millions, when I say millions, I talk about like maybe 15 million, 20 million Russian dead. And the German them. So them also move and wanted to move out of that area. And England, they make us deal with them and say, all right, a little piece of land down at that place, down the soil, you know, where them call it Palestine. You know what we will do? We will give a piece of land there for settle and build up yourself. In 1948, them get the land. But people that depend on the land, people that depend on the land when them go there, these people, them call them the Palestinians. And with the help of other nations, like America and England and all these places, the people them who go there from Russia and Germany and these places start to take over the land. And this is how now them get the people them who come there from Russia, them get converted to Judaism. It's converted, them get converted, just like how we get converted to Christianity. Them get converted to Judaism. And them create a state for themselves and start to now disregard the people them who did there, who never declare themselves as from the religion of the Judaism, and them use the part of the Bible them called the Torah. T-O-R-A-H, I think they spell it Torah. From Genesis to Malachi. From Genesis to Malachi is the where we call the Old Testament. Them call it the Torah. And that is the book where them use, because them not believe in a Jesus. From Matthew to Revelation, them do another part there. Them use the part from Genesis to Malachi. So, why we have said this? Because of where we are going now. And we know, say, over the years we have said this many, many times before. In the 90s and in the 2000s, we have said this story many times before. They take over the land, and with the help of other so-called nations, especially America and England, them start to move the people them who they did there off of the land. And because them have might and power to back them, them become the sole and source, the sole people them who the land is designated to by some other invaders who call themselves England. Listen to this.
The Israel in the Bible is not the same Israel as today. And I know what you're thinking, and you're already jumping into conclusions, but hear me out. People are over here fighting and debating over a misunderstanding of what Israel actually means. They think that the modern Israel is the same as the...
Hey, you don't know how I feel when I find this thing, you know. You see that little clip, yeah? May I tell you, we give thanks to whosoever sent it to me, you know. Somebody said it to me because them here say, me I talk about this thing for a long time, you know. Thank you for this clip here, but I want you to listen to this clip here. Something we have been saying for years.
The Israel in the Bible is not the same Israel as today. And I know what you're thinking, and you're already jumping into conclusions, but hear me out. People are over here fighting and debating over a misunderstanding of what Israel actually means. They think that the modern Israel is the same as the Israel God promised in the Bible. It's not. In the Bible, Israel means two things. First, Israel was a person. In Genesis 32, Jacob wrestled with God, literally fought him all night long. And after that, God changed his name to Israel, which means he struggles with God. Second, Israel became a nation. Jacob's 12 sons became the 12 tribes of Israel, God's chosen people. But hear this out. They were not chosen because of their land. They were chosen because of God's promise.
Hey, for those of you who are to Cuttin for years, no say. Cuttin has showed the people them this for years. And the past, them are mislead the people them. Because you have people right now who that say, a foolish muta attack, you know, because my pastor said this and my pastor said that. Them never read it in the Bible. All you hear them talk about, them never read the Bible. We read the Bible. When we in a 12 tribe, we read from Genesis 1 to Revelation 22. We don't remember everything in it, but there's certain things that we will never forget because we did an organization in the 12 tribes of Israel. And you started to find out, according to the new moon, the first new moon, which in April, March, April, you start count the sun them from that time. The 12 sun them. So when we did talk about this, me never know other man are good at me heard it. But you know, some read the Bible because it's in where you must say in the Bible. And where we have said for much years now, in the Bible. But because we are one Rasta, we barefoot Rasta, them go on like say we don't know where we are saying, we should move to get them foolishness from both Israel is a man and all them something there. You hear them people, they say them are Israelite, them say them are Israeli. They never say them are Israelite, them say them are Israeli. So I could play what we started from the beginning, that you can't catch a drift. And where we are talking about that. You listen.
The Israel in the Bible is not the same Israel as today. And I know what you're thinking, and you're already jumping into conclusions, but hear me out. People are over here fighting and debating over a misunderstanding of what Israel actually means. They think that the modern Israel is the same as the Israel God promised in the Bible. It's not. In the Bible, Israel means two things. First, Israel was a person. In Genesis 32, Jacob wrestled with God, literally fought him all night long. And after that, God changed his name to Israel, which means he struggles with God. Second, Israel became a nation. Jacob's 12 sons became the 12 tribes of Israel, God's chosen people. But hear this out. They were not chosen because of their land. They were chosen because of God's promise. The nation of Israel existed under kings like David and Solomon. But guess what? They lost their land. They were exiled because they turned away from God. Fast forward today, Israel was founded in 1948 as a political state. But that's not the same as biblical Israel. It's not ruled by biblical law. Not everyone there is a descendant of the 12 tribes. And the land does not define God's people. Faith does. So when people think that defending modern day Israel is the same as defending God's chosen people, no, you're missing the whole point of scripture. God's Israel was never about land, but about a relationship with him.
Okay, so Pastor, are people who listen to me and go to church, you can have something to talk to the pastor about. And I am going to assume, say, it's not a black man attack that. So, I know no more want to believe what the white man say. That is why I'm glad that somebody sent me this clip here. You never talk to the pastor yet about biblical things. You never sit down and talk to the pastor about biblical things. And you just sit down in a church every Sunday and listen to what the pastor say and just gulp it down. Like say sugar, water, and a drink. When we there, so I talk about these things. So tell the people to turn off the radio. You know how much you tell me that over the years? My brother to me say, I'm a mother in a Florida chew something and lick him in his foot. Because I'm listening to a Cuttin edge. No, see, a man has said the same thing, you know. Israel. And most of them never read that in the Bible yet.
Don't claim to be written by eyewitnesses, and in fact, they were not written by eyewitnesses. The gospel writers were living 40 to 50 to 60 years after Jesus died. They wrote the Gospels in Greek. Jesus' language was Aramaic. These gospel writers were living in a different country. Decades later, where did they get their information from? They were not the followers of Jesus. They don't claim to be followers of Jesus, the disciples. They're written by later people, decades later, in a different language. Where did they get their information from? They heard stories about Jesus that had been in circulation year after year after year, decade after decade, down to the time that the gospel writers living in a different country, speaking a different language, heard the stories. What happens to oral stories when they are transmitted orally? They change. The gospel writers have discrepancies among themselves because the stories that were told and retold were changed over time, and the gospel writers themselves sometimes changed the stories. That's why there are discrepancies. That's why scholars might be able to tell you generally what Jesus was about. They can list 8 things that Jesus did, but they can't tell you the details and agree. Why can't scholars agree? Because there are so many discrepancies that the Gospels are not reliable.
Okay. So that is one of the things that we get knocked for on this program for years. Who was Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? As a matter of fact, according to the same theologians, the books of Paul was written before Matthew, Luke, and John. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Paul writing was written before the 4 first book of the First Testament, the New Testament. And him never said God there. Jesus said, him don't know Jesus. Can you imagine this? How many know him don't know Jesus? Because him same one said, him never know the man who them call Jesus. Him hear about him. And he was traveling on his way to Damascus. And something blind him. And him start to wake up and hear a voice that talk to him. And I saw him find Jesus. Him never know him, the man, physically, personally. A hearsay. And them him write so much letters to the European them, the Corinthians, the Romans, the Ephesians, the Galatians, to convert them to a person who him never know. But because the philosophy where him hear about the man was so proper in his side, him start to spread that gospel all over Jerusalem and all over Europe. And him end up and get killed by the same Roman them. Matthew, Mark. As a matter of fact, when you read them story there, if you really read it, I'm not talking about just read it according to where your mother used to talk about, or the pastor talk about. You personally read it yourself. You realize that certain things in there not add up. Certain things in there don't add up at all. People don't like hear them thing there. People don't like hear them thing there because it go against all the way them did that think. All the way them did that think. Them don't like hear it.
Martin Luther didn't like the Catholic Church and founded the Lutheran Church. Calvin did Calvinist Church. Henry VIII didn't like being denied Catholic marriage and founded the Anglican Church. John Smith disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Baptist Church. William Miller didn't like the Baptist Church and founded the Adventist. Ellen G. White really liked what William Miller said and founded the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Charles T. Russell didn't like the Adventist Church and founded Jehovah's Witnesses. Joseph Smith disliked the Methodist Church and founded the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. John Wesley disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Methodist Church. Some pastors didn't like the Methodist Church and founded the Pentecostal Church. Many did not like the Pentecostal Church and founded thousands of churches like Stop Suffering, Assemblies of God, Light of the World, etc. The evangelical movement came from the Baptist Church, while the different born-again movement came from the evangelical churches. The born-again faith emerged in the late 1930s from the U.S., and it gained popularity in the 1970s and 1980s, its golden age. There are now 35,000 different so-called Christian religions who claims their interpretation of the Bible is the right one.
Okay. When you hear that? When you hear that? You can go dig it up for yourself because you have books where record these stories and tell you. Listen.
You're saying the man who translated the Bible be his own mother?
Oh, yeah. King James I, the man behind the King James Bible, had his mother Mary, Queen of Scots, locked up and then executed, allegedly. He worked with his aunt, Queen Elizabeth I, to make it happen. Why? So he could secure his place as King of England. That's not exactly the kind of story you'd expect from someone tied to the Bible, is it? But it doesn't stop there. James had a thing for demonology. He wasn't just curious about it. He wrote an entire book, Demonology, all about witches, demons.
All right, make us stop this about demonology. I have that book. A man send a book they come give me. Say him never know say King James was affiliated with other books other than the Bible. Well, I have the book. And when you're looking at the book, you're trying to know, says this man here claim to translate the book with other men. Because them says 40 different scholars him get together to really translate the book from other books. So film version is a version. You know what version mean? It's a King James version. Like a theme version, you know. King James authorized that version. So if King James version is where I read, wanted the version before theme version. Because remember I said the first time it was written in Aramaic. Not Amharic, you know, not Amharic, like Ethiopian language. There are different languages that used to talk in Jerusalem. No, remember, I say never have no. I could come back with it. At 12 o'clock.
Brothers and sisters, this is Chalice. John.
Where King James put out a theme thinking in another book there. Theme thinking. I don't know if it's up online, but maybe you can find it online too. As a matter of fact, maybe they have an audio book too. Yes, that is how science and technology to go now. You just go up on YouTube and just look for Demonology by King James. And maybe you can listen it. It's another joke thing. Because a whole heap of the things they're right in front of you, you know. But because we don't have a thinking in our head before, it's very difficult to remove them thinking there when reality come liquid now. A man prefer hold on upon him all time religious beliefs and don't recognize you have to your brains, human brains don't function in a static, not static. It's not static. And I have to mention Ian Bowen. I'm a brethren, and him have me as a brethren too. You know much time I walk on the road, and people say, you know, say, Ian Bowen talk about you every day in I'm church. I say, what about talk about me, say? If I say, why, Booty not a fool, you know. That is why it called me with him big Reverend Chisholm. And then when the program done behind the screen, him begs with Chisholm. Time things like Chisholm did go lay me dead. With the conversation where we have on the radio. And I'm more than 2 times, me and Chisholm clash up. Not to mention others where we depend. That it become a thing with him. Because him sit down and say, any night I'll know. If me call him right now, I'm yard. Him sit down and listen to Cuttin edge. And them invite me to the Theological College and when me talk them and say, but that is what we learn in the Theological College. So I said, them I learn something in the Theological College where the pastor now tell you in a church. Them I learn something about Theological College where the pastor not telling you in church. But because some of them afraid to use them brains, them come out back with the same argument where them did have before them going there. And we never go to Theological College. We never go to university. But over a period of time, we was so caught up into understanding where we are get to self in as Rasta that we really want to find out what is it, what is this thing, this Bible story and all these things. So I could go back with King James.
You're saying the man who translated the Bible beat his own mother?
Oh, yeah. King James I, the man behind the King James Bible, had his mother Mary, Queen of Scots, locked up and then executed, allegedly. He worked with his aunt, Queen Elizabeth I, to make it happen. Why? So he could secure his place as King of England. That's not exactly the kind of story you'd expect from someone tied to the Bible, is it? But it doesn't stop there. James had a thing for demonology. He wasn't just curious about it. He wrote an entire book, Demonology, all about witches, demons, and their nasty tricks. And this is the same guy who decided, hey, I should translate the Bible for everyone. And then there's his personal life. Rumors say he had questionable relationships with men, including his cousin, and he wasn't exactly known for being morally upright. Yet this is the man people trust for one of the most influential versions of the Bible. Do you see the problem here? Now let's talk about the translation itself. King James didn't write the Bible, but he commissioned it to solve political and religious problems in his kingdom. It wasn't just about faith, it was about control. He needed a version of the Bible that supported his rule and brought peace to a divided nation. That's the agenda nobody talks about.
Nobody talk about it. Why did he translate the book? Was it because of, wanting people to go closer to God or really accept Jesus Christ as their personal savior? No, it wasn't that. It's control. Control. And what better control you can say than the control it have over black people? What more control it have more than where black people get controlled by it? This invisible God where most people talk about. Anything happen, whether it's bad or good. Well, bad man. You say even the devil know God and fear him. Well, the same thing. Bad man a Bible a read and a quote Bible and all the way there. A terrible thing. Terrible thing. There is something that is missing from the minds of the people them, and that is critically thinking about what we thought we know as reality or as real. Critically thinking. We don't want to critically think about nothing, especially the religion, because 500 years of degradation from black people, 500 years of blood, sweat, and tears coming across the Atlantic Ocean and wipe out a generations on top of generations of people. And then we come here so and then give away a book. And that book is supposed to save we from them. I'm keep repeating what Sizzler say. I wonder if Sizzler remember saying sing that tune now. The white God cannot save you from white man oppression. Because if the God where you was praying to was the right God, how could he make you be into this madness for 500 years? And the people them who put you in it, when you look on them are prosper. And if you want to prosper like them, sometimes you have to turn criminal. We never used to do things where them say we used to do. We never own. But I'm glad that people are just to consider, you know, trust me. Because all the things that we do and bring out, we can put a different voice to it now and people know say. But somebody else that say it. Listen to this.
I've never owned anyone. My neighbors, as far as I know, have never been owned by anyone. But the people who say we don't owe any reparations for the Civil War are ignoring something really huge. Or maybe they just don't know. Some people already got reparations. White people. White enslavers were paid for losing their human property. The actual people who were raped, tortured, whipped, and sold, and worse, were promised land to get a fresh start after the war, but they got nothing. When slavery was abolished, Congress paid nearly $1 million, which is 30 million in today's bucks, to white enslavers as compensation for losing their property in a war they lost. If a freed person didn't hit the road fast enough, they risked being re-enslaved under new laws that were just workarounds for all these white people losing their slaves. After the Civil War ended, Union General Sherman set aside 400,000 acres of confiscated Confederate land for black families to start new lives on, up to 40 acres each. The Army loaned out mules to help them work the land. That's where the phrase 40 acres and a mule comes from. Black people were already working some of this land when Lincoln was assassinated and Andrew Johnson became president. Well, Johnson reversed the order. He gave the land back to the same Confederates who had just tried to destroy the country. The freed people were evicted. So they made all these things into crimes that were non-crimes. They were things like, if a black person didn't have a job, that was a crime. If a black person couldn't prove that they had a job, that was a crime. You could get arrested for that and a lot of other ridiculous things. But once you were in jail, you could be leased out as labor for private profit. This system of convict leasing allowed white landowners and businesses to replace slavery with something just as violent, just as profitable as slavery. No wonder there are still Confederate flags all across the South. Even after slavery was abolished, Black Americans were not safe. Public lynchings became a regular threat. They were a form of terror used to keep free people in their place. They were planned events announced in advance, so everybody...
Yes. When I listen to them things, I know, them things is like, oh, we play the music there, and so we play them things, I know. That's why I'm so short, because when I get bored, when you listen...
This is the first time I would say I am really, really proud of my ancestors because they left nothing behind. Nothing at all. I've traveled the world as a black man, and I have never seen a black country where the people who live in it are foreigners that were brought there by blacks as slaves. Not one single country. Yet the black race has more countries on earth than any other country. 54 are on the continent. 13 black countries in the Caribbean. So 68 black countries was imposed on them by force by a black country. I've traveled the world and I have never seen a religion that is imposed upon anybody anywhere in this world by countries. Not a single one of them has a nuclear weapon of mass destruction. Black countries across the world, none of them is responsible for what we call the military complex, where we are manufacturing dirty bombs and sending things into the water to pollute people. I've traveled the world and I'm yet to see one product that was forced to be sold in another country by a black country. So it means the black race is the only race on earth that represents what the United Nations have been looking for the last 100 years, peace. Yes, we fought internal wars just like anybody, and that is all we did. Therefore, in my travels, there was no place I went on earth where the people there pointed fingers at me and say, your people did this to me. Never. The black person is the only one who travels this earth, and no one will point a finger. That's what my ancestors left behind. Nothing.
Holy shit. That has to be definitely, I'd say, more powerful than anything.
Yes. Take a break and come forward.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we want to play this. But after we play this, after the advertisement, we're going to take some phone call. So take the phone call them after we play this, and then they add them going to come, and we just work out the phone call them.
FM really rocking, you know?
Okay. Sorry about that. I could start it over.
They don't teach you this in school, but let me put you up on it. Before slavery, black people weren't just running around in huts. Nah, Africa was home to some of the most powerful empires, richest rulers, and greatest intellectual centers the world has ever seen. Let's talk about the real Africa before slavery. Africa wasn't just one place. It was a continent full of advanced civilizations. Let's start with the Mali Empire, home to Mansa Musa, the richest man in history. This brother was so wealthy that when he traveled to Egypt, he gave away so much gold that it crashed their entire economy for 10 years. And then we had the Songhai Empire, which controlled massive trade routes and had an organized government, tax systems, and military forces that rivaled Europe. And let's talk about Timbuktu, one of the greatest learning centers in the world. Before Europe even had universities on that level, Africans were studying mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy in massive libraries and schools. The University of Sankore in Timbuktu had tens of thousands of books. Some are the oldest books in the world. And let's be clear, Africa was a global trade powerhouse. West African kingdoms traded gold, ivory, spices, textiles, and even advanced weaponry with Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. African artisans were masters of bronze, gold, and terracotta, creating sculptures and jewelry that are now in museums around the world. And when it comes to technology, Africans were smelting iron, forging steel, and engineering irrigation systems before most parts of the world. So why don't they teach us this? Because if they did, we wouldn't grow up thinking our history started with slavery. Black people weren't just victims. We were architects, we were warriors, scholars, and kings and queens. Africa was thriving long before European colonization. It's time to rewrite the narrative, y'all. Black history didn't start in chains, it started in greatness. So drop a black fist in the comments if you're claiming your history, and share this to make sure that the truth gets told.
Well, that we are the sister. That we are the serious thing. Almost all long we have said these things over and over and over and over. And now we find out that many people have said the same thing, but don't even know me. Yes. That's why we say we not stop. We not stop. Believe you me. I couldn't spend so much years to talk these things and just we want to say it. No, sir. It did there before we come here. And I got there when we gone. Okay? The truth have to be told to African people. Because not only where I want to open, you know. It's where mind and our brains want to open. Them took out all of the fullness out of our head and put garbage in there. That is why the whole of we now run up and down with for them kind of clothes and them the thinking in our head, for them thinking, them put them thinking in our head. And we feel that we are do things and feel that we are doing it. It's like some little zombies.
Most people know Washington, D.C. as the capital of the United States. But what they don't know is that the city was partly designed by a black man, a self-taught genius, named Benjamin Banneker. Born in 1731 to a free black woman and an enslaved black man.
Hey, a Black History Month, every month on that program, you know. Should I know that by now, you know, Black History Month, every month on that program. We don't wait till a certain month to declare that.
Most people know Washington, D.C. as the capital of the United States. But what they don't know is that the city was partly designed by a black man, a self-taught genius, named Benjamin Banneker. Born in 1731 to a free black woman and an enslaved black man, Banneker had almost no formal education. By teaching himself astronomy, mathematics, and engineering, he changed American history. He helped survey and map the land. He worked with Major Andrew Elliott. Everyone panicked. The entire project was at risk. But Banneker had memorized the entire layout from memory alone, build the capital of a nation that denied him rights, but not his legacy. This is black history you won't find in your school books.
Listen to you because we just play them for upset yourself. It's a revelation we are give. Revelation. Only one never know that. A black man design Washington, D.C., the capital of America. So
Down Sound Entertainment presents.
I tell you because brother, you download me so much information you cannot keep me up tonight.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, man. But me make 2 points. There's a book where you call Demonology by Christopher, by King James.
Yeah.
You can get a book upon archive.org and download any book free, over 50 million books. You can download them free and get Marcus Garvey Philosophy and Opinion.
Yeah, well, tell the people them louder than that.
Yeah, people, and Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler. You read a book there with King James book, Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler. But what, I don't want to talk about that. There's also a book called The Negroes Christian.
No, hold on, man. You go too fast. You go get to talk. You know, for rust them out.
All right, sir.
Tell the people them which part them can get the demonology book when we just talk about.
Yeah, you can get that free on your internet, archive.org. Archive.org. You have over 50 million free books can download. Audio books also. They share so much information.
All right. So.
Yeah, but you know, I want you know this motor. You know that no Jew and no Muslim not believe in a God.
Well, them not say God, them say Allah. The Jew,
all
them,
right.
Most of the Jews, them are atheists. No, the one them in Israel, most of them are atheists, you know.
Yeah, not only that, because through their history, you know, remember, you know, God is a European country. God have a son sit down on your right hand, you know. No Jew or Muslim not believes that God have a son, you know.
No, well,
but yeah, listen how stupid it is now.
Islam no believe say God have son neither.
Yeah, for real.
But them accept Jesus, but them believe in a Jesus.
Yeah, right. They understand who Jesus was. Yeah. According to their history. Mm-hmm. There was nobody in the Bible named Andrew, Philip, Mark, Thomas.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, man. Mark, Luke. Yeah.
But not only that, none of the disciples' names, them never have those names in the Bible. I'm going to show you something. Maybe get down to it fast, because maybe somebody else want to talk. Look how stupid it is. In heaven, God, when they live comfortable, no problem, till Satan rise up against him. Satan deceive much. Angel 1/3. Then God cast him down after a war. Satan come in a earth now in a garden of Eden. Adam and Eve, they live so nice and everything. According to them Bible, you know. Satan deceived Eve and Adam. God drive them out. You don't know what God do. God sent his son. One have nothing to do with the deception of angel nor Adam or Eve to condemn people.
Yeah, and them still don't get saved.
And Satan, who they get the problem, God, no, you know, he make them kill his son, you know, brother.
Yeah.
And yet Satan, who the troublemaker,
them not kill
still have him there,
there. Sometimes
I'm a lion, sometimes I'm a wolf in a sea club, sometimes a serpent. Brother, people that look for Satan and don't know who them look for.
The Bible say God create evil, you know.
Of course the Bible said that. In Isaiah 47 verse 15.
See, you know your Bible. You know your Bible, man.
But listen, wickedest thing now on the motor.
God create evil.
The wickedest thing at Genesis 1 verse 1.
Yes.
And people now understand this.
So it make the light before the sun.
No, I don't talk about that. There is no way in the Bible, in the scripture, in the Torah, say that God make heaven or earth or nothing. There is no way in a Genesis says God make or create nothing in the Torah. King James Version tweeted to that. What if Genesis was saying anybody can download it from the internet or read it from the internet? It said in the beginning, Elohim made the heavens.
Elohim they never say God say, but at the same thing they matter.
Elohim is the plural word for gods.
Yeah, I know, but when I say the same thing, I don't think them a pluralize it.
No, but listen to
me. Because I don't use the word God, because I don't really use the word God.
No, but let me remember what if I. So you see in Genesis 1 verse 26, here the gods they talk now. Come let us make man.
Make man in our own image.
All right. You see after Adam and Eve, here the gods they talk. The man have sinned and become as one as us.
They're knowing good and evil.
All right. In Genesis 11, when they build the building figure heaven, here the gods they talk. Come let us go down to see the temple, the building that man is building.
Yes.
All right, there was another time when Israel.
And then him say him run with him and say him go there and go find a wife.
All right, brother, may I tell you.
And Genesis 4 say, and the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were fear.
All right.
The sons of God, capital G-O-D, yeah.
But not only that, there's a war between Israel and Judah, because they split up. So King Joseph and King Ahab they go war. So then send some prophet and say, look here, make you a prophet. Him say, if you go. So then send and the sons of the prophet come and then say blah 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 blah. Then say, we don't want here. You don't have nobody else so you can bring out when I king say, yeah man, me have a man here, but he never thought nothing which part we want here. But man, alright, bring him come at me here, I say. So the man come out here, Micaiah or Micah. So he say, what you have to say about it? He say, boy, I don't go up in a car, not God don't get it. The king say, you see it? Me tell you say now go on. The man say, all right, listen what me see now. Me see heaven gather together and God in the middle with all the hosts around him. And God began to ask them, say, who we go send to deceive this king here?
God put the tongue, the line tongue in the man.
So what I'm saying, you go back right to Genesis 1. You understand me?
Yeah, read the Bible, Richard. Yeah, read the Bible.
God, Elohim. People don't understand that.
Yeah, read the Bible, man. So God put a lie.
Spirit.
In the spirit of life from God going on the man.
You understand? Yeah. In the council.
At 2 times him do it too, you know. 2 times I can tell you, remember say I'm grand and when name in the first part Abraham.
Right.
Half sister. Right. So tell him say I know your sister.
You understand? So now the best description of God in Daniel chapter 7. Verse 9, good on where it said God sit down the key ancient of days with long white hair.
Yeah.
You understand me? And fire around him and angel around him and all these things. That are the description of the God of people worshiping.
Yeah.
And at the same time then twist and tell us the God is the creator. But look at this. In the Bible, God commit more murder, more
genocide.
More wicked and tell people
even them.
After 300 years when
Moses
he come out of Egypt, God rise up King Saul and say, remember what Amalek do? Man, you go kill out all of them people, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, right now, me not see the reason why I should have done that. The Bible say God hates Saul. And then he call David and say, yo, young man after my own heart, more you fit do what me say.
Yeah.
And that's the God of black people take up now. So when you read the book that is called The Negroes Christianized, you can find a book online. I read the 17 page. In the book, it said that even though the Negroes should own nothing on the face of the earth, they shall be giant heirs in heaven with God. So you know, if you own nothing, black people, if you own nothing, we go on one place in Dumfries or Adelphi, on big old ganja farm. Every 3 months shipment of ganja they go. Black people have to own a farm. black people have to own more than a certain amount if they hold it with that.
Oh, yeah, boss pan the man them, so Rasta. Yo, oh, yeah, boss pan the man them, so you tell us about them.
No, but you know, they're not privacy. One when they out of Westgate in a Montego Bay, they move.
Well, you ball out by the man them a plan.
Let me tell you what I sit to them.
Yeah, police.
Let me sit to the yard because guess what? We under slave master rule and the slave master regime, we might not be controlled by them.
So that's why you boss pan the man them.
Black people want to go to heaven, and at the same time, they don't own nothing on the face of the earth.
All right, sir. All right, give thanks here, Bridget.
Oh, you mean bless up yourself and bless up the people. So you archive.org, you can get any book you want.
Yeah, man. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Oh, gosh, man. Yes, sir.
Respect, I.
Blessed, man.
First time caller.
Oh, what?
Yeah, man. I call from overseas, you know.
Which why you call overseas?
I Mary Maka, man.
Mary Maka? That no Mary again, you know.
No Mary boy. Be a Maka over here.
Let me tell you. So what I say now?
I'm just calling to big up there, you know, man.
Okay.
Because the work we are doing, trust me, I tell you. Them work here is invaluable.
Yeah.
Because I pity a program like this, I feel, you know, come on at hours like this. Because youth need to learn some of them something away.
Yeah, them might learn it, man. Yeah, they might learn it, man. Watch out. You saw me just start that program, yeah? Me did that one that people say, them should have put you on at the day, man, but guess what? You know much youth all over the world when we travel go. When you see they are Jamaica and they are universities, you know. And so them used to listen to me when them do them homework up at university. When them have to put them phone on at the radio. Sorry, the little transistor radio and the pillar and all them something there. So me not worry about the time. Them are listening. You know, whosoever will make up, them are listening.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because I want to say, I just saw it going on. One listen and the next one share, because even though we might use them, you know, a lot of the information where they pass on, especially when it come on to Garvey and them great people, and then something they may teach them.
Yeah.
You know.
And when we just start, you never have YouTube.
Yeah.
And now
because I really YouTube make me can listen back certain things.
Yeah, that me say. So
one of the greatest interview when me catch from you was one with Dr. R3LIGIONS.
Okay, yeah, but when they bring him down,
that interview there is like that changed my life. My whole life changed.
Yeah, man.
You know, because you see the fear when me used to have as a youth, I grew up under them Christendom vibration. And me I walk down and me I say something right about this. Oh, me feel so bad about God. When I say God love you, so me feel so bad, like me just afraid.
Yeah, you're supposed to afraid.
But me feel afraid. Everything me I do. You know? And me I say, no man. And when me start listening to certain things and me go around certain Rasta people in my family, I say, no man. Easy man, schism man. There's a trickster and a hole. To try a hole on the dump. And me still never believe, because me I say no, so it could come like a Una try trick me. I don't know who a trick me, who a try trick me. If I'm a family or for the system, yeah. You know. But me give thanks to the eye, because the whole I get, I mean I listen to you, and me do my research, as you always say, you know, don't take your word feed to your research. But that program there, that interview there with Dr. R3LIGIONS, really, yeah man, that program there. And the fact that him actually had talked about our great Marcus Garvey, you know, and how him always said, yo, you know, black people won't do.
Yeah, man.
The white man, you know?
Yeah.
So I give thanks to that, because
yeah, man,
a lot of them I think that my youth them I learn it too, you know.
Yeah. All right.
And with the sorry to some of them things not going to the school then, because they will more teach Christianity than have to teach them about Garvey. You know? But give thanks to the eye, big up. Me that hold for a long time, but me call back again.
I don't know, man. Give thanks. Give thanks,
respect.
What you want and what you will, working for your dollar bill.
But you know, last week Thursday, when we were speaking and thing, later that night, I want to say condolences to the family of Carlton Brown, who was in my year at Kingston Technical. He passed away last Thursday or 10:30 in New York City Hospital. He was sick. And Carlton Brown, his older brother, who was a year before me at Technical, Harold Brown, was engineer at Duke Reed Studio. Remember Harold Brown? Remember Harold Brown? Right. Well, his brother, who was in my year to a Technical day, Carlton. Yeah, he passed away. So throat cancer thing,
Yeah.
So so making Kingston Technical people know about that.
And then yesterday, Leroy Gibbons there.
Leroy Gibbons. Yes, I tell you, Tuesday in Hanover, in a studio there, Western Jamaica, that say like his heart attack. And, Gibbons was a good bridge in our mind because in 1987, when I brought in Arrows International from East Kingston to come play in England, it was the only time in history that an entire sound ship, amplifier, and record box, the whole sound ship, and come here and play. And Leroy Gibbons was one of the persons with Arrows Sound at the time, along with Shaka Shamba.
Carlton used to go Kingston Tech too. Arrows Bridge, he used to go Kingston Tech too.
Yes, that is Philip. Yeah, Philip Linton.
Philip Linton,
Bill. Yeah, Bill. Yeah, man. Kingston, just like Black Star, Danny Black Star used to go Kingston Technical. Same here as you and, in fact, you and Philip Linton and Donald Darling, Black Star from Uptown, Elizabeth. It's the same here at Kingston Technical.
Same here,
same here, and thing. But Leroy Gibbons, man, from Gregory Park, St. Catherine.
I tell you, man.
Yeah, man, brilliant performer.
Oh, you mean, man?
Over sound chip on stage, man. Dynamic, man, And you remember a few years ago, him did get shot out by Port Henderson?
No, I never remember about that.
Yeah, man. He was jogging and thing. Yes, some shooting thing. Yes, some attempted robbery business, Yes, Leroy Gibbons. He grew up in the church at Gregory Park, So he was singing in the church and thing. And, Willie Williams, who sing Armageddon, the Studio One classic, great Willie Williams. Willie was saying...
We talk to him regular, Willie Williams. We talk to him regular.
Right, yeah, me know, man. Him tell me. He might tell me that his cousin Leroy Brown, who is now in Jamaica, that him and Leroy Gibbons used to in a group in Canada known as The Rise. Them used to sing together, and he was so impressed by Leroy Gibbons singing that he tell him to go to Jamaica, man, and record, And that's why he ended up at Jammies and come out with his first album, which was his best album with tunes like This Magic Moment, Cupid, and all of them tunes, which came out in 1987. The same year that I brought in Arrows there.
I Jammies produce, I don't want to Jammies produce.
Yeah. But Steely and Clevey were the musicians. Steely and Clevey, and you have Bobby Digital as the engineer and Jammies as executive producer.
Who come up for my performance at that night? June, June. June Abice, Linval Thompson, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man, remember come to me and say, you can't make Linval Thompson. Camilla go play. And that was my time to play, and him come to me and say, me can't make, me say, what you mean? If you can't make Linval Thompson do a tune. Of course, the more than one tune too.
Yes.
When you come out, the place fall down, man, I tell you.
Yeah, man, that is the Junior Bible thing at the Louis Bennett
theater, yeah. Linval. Last time I see him was in France, me did that, Spain. Last time I see him, man. The man still have him voice, Rasta.
Yes.
Man, still have
Yes,
them vibes.
you know, it is good when artists them still maintain them voice thing. Like Cornell Campbell.
Yes. Cornell Campbell, voice same way.
Voice same, yes. And Errol Dunkley still have him voice.
Yes.
So, you know. Yeah, you know. Because some of the artists them voice big grade for whatever reasons. But Cornell, yes, as I say, Cornell Campbell, you know, who started his career in the 1950s before Delroy Wilson, who started in the early 60s, then Dunkley and things. Yeah, man, and still hold them voice. And Ken Booth still have him voice too.
Yeah, man. Still a tour too.
Eh?
Still a tour too. Even them can't see.
Still a tour. Beside the eyesight problem.
Yeah, them can't see, you know, still a tour.
Yeah, but the voice still a...
Still there, yeah. Them can't spin round again, though.
No, because you know, it's a man will love dance.
Yeah, we love spin.
Yeah, one will love... Yes, we came from Denham Town. And I'm telling you, this latest set of bombing from last Friday with Netanyahu regime from Iran, it's like it them by surprise. Them never realized that the Iranians would have been able to penetrate them Iron Dome system.
Yeah. Well, boy, it sounds like another Iraq thing I come up here now, though.
Yes, because we know that the Israelis them up front with things, but is the USA and Britain and the rest who are support them?
Trump.
Enable them. Trump. Yes.
Trump enable them.
One thing, and evil people in Iran who don't like the Ayatollah and the government there and thing know that them hate the Iranians and things, so them not fall into the divide and rule tactics where them want the people them to rise up because them see where the US and things only invade other countries to destroy them, who pose any threat to them.
Mash up the country. Yeah.
Mash up the country, like where you will see happen in Libya, in Iraq, and a bitter loss to Russia was they should not have allowed Assad's government to fall because Assad was one of the very few Arab Muslim governments that was holding it and supporting the people in Palestine, you know, and Russia lose some important naval bases that they had in Syria when Assad was there, you know, and things. So it's a serious thing, but I love how the Iranians them are hold it. And
so long them can't hold it, man, Bridget, because Trump are going at it.
Well, him already in it, as we know.
Yeah, we're also going at, I mean, like Iraq.
Overtly, yes, that type of thing. But remember, you know, one of the things that people must remember, in the 1950s, when there was no Ayatollah, nothing, the British MI6 and the US CIA overthrew the legally elected government of Iran because the Prime Minister nationalized the oil industry and thing, you know.
Yeah.
So whether it's religion or not, them don't want no country, them NATO countries, to be independent and to be economically strong.
Remember the Shah? Remember the Shah?
Yes, who them support and
them support,
how them arm Saddam to try and invade and destroy Iran. Yes. So and then look what them do.
And them come destroy Iraq.
Yes, and hang Saddam, who also help, who was a part for them and them things. So you know, we want a multipolar world. We don't want no USA as a superpower in this world to dictate to people, Muta. And see the dollar get a blow because the BRICS alliance a put paid to the US dollar where them used to use to commit financial terrorism against countries when they agree with them and them thing there. No,
but some
man,
of them European countries, they are moving from America now, though.
Yes, of course.
They are moving from America.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Definitely, man. The US empire must fall, man. And the quicker it falls, the better for humanity, man. A racist genocide.
Hold on. I don't remember if any are there, so I don't there, so.
Yeah, man. The US empire will take over from the British Empire, which was the biggest genocidal racist empire in history. So them days are numbered, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because people all over the world I see them for what they are, man. You know, all over the world. Afghanistan, Vietnam, all over. And we love where President Traore in Burkina Faso doing, and the other brothers and sisters in Niger and in
Mali.
Niger and Mali.
And Senegal.
Muta, you know, yeah,
Senegal.
Because Muta, you know.
And Namibia.
Namibia, yes, our sister president in Namibia and things. Because the USA, racist, them don't want Africa to be united and strong as we as Pan-Africanists know, you know. Them don't want none of that, you know. See? So we have to support, you know?
Yeah, of course.
As much as possible to bring, because them no want the Marcus Garvey aim to Africa of one president, one army, one navy, and one air force to come
one
into
money,
being, you know.
One money.
One money. Them don't want that Marcus Garvey dream and aim to come into reality. But we as Pan-Africanists can continue working. And you see the program where you do, and I do, and others and so, we helping to spread that education. Because only we as African people can save ourselves. Because reparations, me not listen earlier in the program, we don't get no reparations, and reparations due to us. We're not forgetting that. While the racists, enslavers, and then descendants get reparations and the benefits of reparations. Remember,
them promise the American them 40 acres and a mule.
And a mule. And none of that happened.
Nothing.
And Jim Crow was a form of slavery again. After the Civil War.
The new slavery.
As was explained again in your program just a while ago, it was a reimposition. You imprisoning our people and using them as slaves in a new system of slavery. You know what I mean? You know? So, no way in which we can do them thing there, you know? And the Notting Hill Gate Carnival supposed to come again. Which is the biggest.
When?
In August, towards the end of August. But already, some guy named Comfort, which is an English guy, where them put in charge the councils, then the two councils, Westminster and Kensington, to run it. I talk about him want to get funding directly from the central government for it. When he himself should not be in charge, because our people, it's our carnival, used to be in charge, and then bring off a coup where them have him as an English guy and run our Notting Hill Gate Carnival, you know, cultural imperialism and make money off it.
You know, we never go there. We never go perform it or go there, go watch it.
Never. And so many people over the years go there, man.
Never perform up there yet. Never go see it yet. When it's August, August, what time it run?
It's bank holiday. It's towards the bank holiday, towards the end of August.
Right,
towards the end of August, early September, depending on how the calendar run in the year, you know. So it's the end of August to early December. And it's that every carnival, me play a sound system on there, you know, we play upon sounds on there, you know what I mean? Every Sundays and the Mondays. Yeah, man. Biggest street thing, man. Biggest street thing.
Man, I see pictures right every year. Every year, pictures right. Every year, I see pictures right.
Yes, man, for real. You know who used to attend it every year? Winston Blake, you know, from Meriton.
Meriton, yeah.
Yes. Him always used to come. Always used to come and that type of thing, man. You know. Yes, Muta.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, man. So we as African people, it's only, as Marcus Garvey. Yeah. Give thanks. Blessed love, Muta.
I can remember when there was slavery time.
Long time. To address the last caller, made a lot of good points, but religion is a personal thing. As the emperor said, that he was the emperor of Christians, Muslims, and pagans, all Ethiopians. The thing that we have in common, we're all Africans. So that's what needs to unite us. We're going to unite. We have to leave religion one side as far as that being a dictate to the unity. That it doesn't have to be at all. The website that the brethren was talking about, where you can find all kinds of
the book them, yeah.
Right. Have you heard of the Gospel of Barnabas?
Yeah, man. Me have the book.
That book is essential for every Jamaican, no matter what.
Essential for what? Tell me why. Why it's essential for every Jamaican?
How many pieces of whatever? What was Judas paid?
Let's say 30.
Of what?
Pieces of silver.
No. The Gospel of Barnabas tells you.
No, you ask me. No, I think you talk about when in the Bible.
Well, we know what the story goes in the Bible. If they say it's silver, but it was gold. He sold them out for gold, not silver.
Okay.
And it wasn't Christ. Listen, when Saul started to go around with the Christendom, they put him with Barnabas at first. But Barnabas said he was a liar and rejected him. And so they gave him this Paul and Silas go around after a while. And because of what Barnabas saw Paul trying to do, that's why he wrote his. He was an eyewitness. He wasn't that somebody that heard about Jesus. He was one of the 12. And
Who
it
was one of the 12? Who?
Barnabas. Barnabas was one of the disciples. He was an eyewitness. The Gospel of Barnabas was the first one written. Everything comes after it. And they tell you plainly that it was Judas Iscariot who was crucified, not Jesus. So Jesus was taken up by 4 angels out the back door of the house that they were staying in when Judas came to the front door with the soldiers. But the Almighty changed Judas's features to look just like Jesus. Everybody thought it was Jesus, even the disciples. And they called Judas Jesus several times.
So when you say the Almighty changed him features?
Yes, but he can do anything. Listen.
Who can do anything?
Yes. Muta, miracles are miracles.
No, man. That's a miracle, no miracle.
But that's what it said. He said he changed his features to look like
Yo. Don't bully me down, man. Listen to me, I say. You read Barnabas like you read Matthew or Mark, Luke or John. That means because Barnabas said it, I saw it go.
Right.
No, me ask you a simple question. By what method him change the features of Jesus? What method?
How did God change Jesus?
Yeah. What method him use to
change Jesus? Listen. The Quran says.
You got a Quran?
No, I'm telling you something. Because you asked me how he changed Judas's features.
Yeah, but the Quran you're gone.
Yeah, I've gone there. It's a book, isn't it? No, so?
It's a book?
It's a book, isn't it?
Oh, you mean it's a book? They don't know it's a book, Virgin.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you something that's in that book.
Yeah.
All right. It says that the children of Israel, some of them were going on so bad that Allah
Sumatra changed them into pigs and monkeys.
And what that mean now?
It means they changed them.
The people them.
Physically changed them.
Yeah, to pigs
so
and monkeys.
If you can change them from a human being into an animal.
And you believe that. You believe that. You believe that.
Listen, let me tell you where I'm coming from, Muta.
No, you believe that.
Yeah, I do. 100%.
You read George Orwell book, man.
No. Well, I have. I had to read them in school.
You read George Orwell book, man.
Oh, Animal Farm.
Yes.
Well, that's a work of fiction.
Oh, then and the one where you just said of fiction.
Well, the Quran has no mistakes. There's
no fiction. It's not fiction.
There's a multi-million-dollar challenge out for years. Anybody that can find any mistake, contradiction in the Quran, nobody can correct.
You just tell me, say, Allah change some man to pig and dog or whatsoever. That you say.
Yeah.
So you believe that?
I do.
Okay.
And I do, and so do millions of people.
But you say that was talk about, you change from one book to the next book. You like to believe all of the book them, except the Bible.
Well.
So why you not believe the Bible?
All right. As I said, this is where I'm coming from. I was born in St. Mary, in the Rastafest. And as a boy, the John Canoe used to come around. And this was real.
Oh, you're going on next story again. You're going from one. Me ask you.
Well, I'm telling you.
No, but you jump from what we start. We start at Jesus. I go behind. God changed Jesus behind the door.
Let me get there. Hold on.
I know you're gone now to you're gone to the Quran. I know you're gone to Drunkono.
I remember when I was about 4 when I first saw it.
We have to take a break. Hold on. We have to take a break. We have to take a break. Yo, we have to take a break. Hold on. We have to take a break. I read the book of Thomas, said.
The book of Thomas?
Yeah.
No.
You know it?
I heard about it.
You ever read the book of Mary yet?
Listen, I've read a book that have all
Mary.
of the Bible. So
you ever read the Maccabees? You ever read the Maccabees?
Compilation, I've read a whole bunch.
You ever read the Maccabees yet?
Yes, I have.
You read it?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Now, when I ran, the devil costume man saw me.
You know what?
I was 5 years old in Rockabest.
The devil? What's the devil?
The man that dressed up as a devil.
Oh, the man that dressed up as a devil. Oh, Drunkono, yeah, Drunkono.
And these were real, terrifying. So I bolted and I ran under the bed and he ran into the house and took me under the bed with a pitchfork. I said, look at this, the devil's after me. So as a little boy, that stayed. Anyways, a couple of years later, a wonderful Canadian man named Don Crawford married my mother, moved the whole family to Canada. And they built this villa where I am in Salem in the 70s. So when I was in Canada now, I played football and different things. A friend of mine was on the team, black guy named Steve Wesley. Then he went to church at this, it was called Day Spring. Anyways, I became a born-again Christian. Still read everything you want to know, but Mutai started my own prison ministry after a while. Went into the biggest prison in Canada, Toronto East Maximum Detention Center, every Sunday after church. Because I didn't want to go to hell. A spirit said, don't bring anybody into the church you go into, because the pastor's preaching lies. And you know what? While I was here in Jamaica, trying to do some business, they put that man out of the church.
Which man?
In Canada. I confronted him.
So, the devil at you out of the bed after doing what you're talking about?
I'm showing you that I became a big Christian.
Because of the devil took you out of the bed?
No. But I was sure that as a little boy, it showed me the reality of the devil.
So you never know the Drunkono was a man underneath there?
But it's a spiritual thing. Just stay with me.
No, I'm not stay with you because I'm not get the whole time. So what that have to do with Barabbas? Sorry, I say Barabbas.
Barnabas.
What that have to do with Barnabas?
Because Barnabas tell you the truth.
The animal them will turn human being turning an animal in the Quran? Where that
because you're amazed that God could change somebody's.
Me amazed. Me not amazed with nothing. No, sir. Me amazed about God.
I'm amazed that he couldn't
do
do
it. About man. Man can't make God.
Look, never do that.
Look
here,
a man decide what God do, you know. I know God decide it and a man decide it.
Well,
anything you want God do, God will do it.
I'm a Muslim now because I had to abandon Christianity because of a lot of the things that you said. Nobody knows who wrote most of those books in the Bible.
I mean, make it on Muslim.
The more I research my religion, the more I realize, no, I can't work.
Wait, hold on. I mean, make it on Muslim.
No, not you. I said before, when I was a Christian, and I researched Christianity and everything about it, I realized the thing can't work. I stopped celebrating Christmas when I was the biggest one and used to hand out the presents.
Yeah. All right, you talk about different things. No, you talk about different. We're not going nowhere. You talk about different things. And different things you want to talk about.
It's the same thing.
No, not the same thing. All right, so what would they know? Where would they know? Where they know? Where they know? You're Muslim now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Don't open up in a bar with Allah Akbar. Eh?
You remember a reader woman named Princess?
Princess? No.
She used to ride around on one Honda 100 that had long dreadlocks. And actually, Gary G has some of her music because she did enter the music festival.
Princess, I don't remember. Well, I'm tired.
Anyway.
Are your wife?
Yes, my wife.
Okay.
Black Power did introduce me to it.
Okay.
And this woman used to heal everybody in the name of Allah.
Yeah.
Before she even saw a Quran.
So she make it on Muslim. She make it on Muslim.
Well, when I got the Quran, because I started healing the blind, deaf, dumb, crippled, reading up every situation. She solved the mystery of the disappeared white woman, Claudia Kershaw. Princess solved that mystery. That woman turned out to be a CIA spy. That's why they had to
Brethren. Yo. Where your parents them come from?
My parents?
Yeah.
My mother comes from St. Mary.
Yeah, where your father come from?
And my father's people, the O'Connors, they come from like Spanish Town and Westmoreland around the place.
So you live a foreign long?
At 6 years old, they took me out here, moved in 1969.
Where them take you? Where them carry you go?
The first place was Belleville, Ontario. I tell you,
Canada.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's Ontario. Wonderful town. I was there for 10 years.
All right, we have to move, though. We have to move.
All right, moved on.
Yeah, good time. At the first you call me, don't it? At the first you call me, don't it?
Me?
Yeah.
No, this is Dr. O'Connor, the herbalist man.
No, at the first you call me.
I'm the one to bring Prince Ermias here, man.
You don't answer me, man. Me ask you for the first you call me.
If it's we talked for a long time, years, man. You know,
how long ago?
You can't remember.
No, I can't remember. I don't remember what I do yesterday. I don't remember what I do yesterday. So you have to remember. Anyway, we're gone.
All right, bless you.
We're gone. All right. Wow. I tell you, man. Teenage, why you love Shane Clark as usual, you know. I tell you, man, Shane Clark, I don't know what to say about you, you know my heart already. You know my heart, yes. All right, so we're going to take a break and come forward. Last break.
Down Sound Entertainment presents.
Bill?
Yes, Mota. Yes, Mota.
Me there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the program so entertaining. It's like you never know where I want to call with, you know?
Yeah, true, man.
But it's good. We see why it did so long, Mota, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But what we call it tonight, it's kind of more, you know, we want to provide some analysis for the world we live in today and what's going on in the media,
okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I want to introduce a concept before we even get into it. And we call it symptomatic thinking, right? And we have to facilitate a program in Ireland. What it basically means is that we have to dot all the dots
and make everything make sense. It's like not just believe things symbolically, but symptomatic things. And this is what we're going to know. When we look at what's going on in the world, Muta, starting with the whole Iraq and the war that's going on, what we are seeing is a systematic degrading of every other nation and country in the world in order to make one country great.
Yeah.
You know, either via tariff, missile, you know, insertion. It is so clear. I think it is just very irresponsible to believe that this generation is going to go on with the public narrative. And that is why we have to be very sharp on program like IRFF. We have to just get right to the point and train the people to see what's going on. Right. Just listen to what the leaders say and do not have no belief about it. They tell you straight. In the case, in the case of Iran, they said we are giving a deadline. I'm familiar a little bit with negotiations. I know it works. And once you set a deadline,
who you said? Them say. What you say? Them say them are giving we who?
The US set a deadline.
No, I said them say them are giving we a deadline.
Well, when we say I don't even remember saying that.
Yeah,
so,
Iran.
what they say, right?
All right. Maybe never you're right.
Right. So maybe never say that. So what I'm saying is this: they gave Iran a deadline and said 60 days. Meaning, if we don't get to a deal by 60 days, then all hell is going to break loose.
And before the 60 days, they attack them. Netanyahu.
Yes. Within negotiations, you see? And that is such, you know. So when you look at it and you set a deadline, so it means no. If once you put the nuclear issue, I said no nuclear enrichment. I don't want the audience to believe nuclear enrichment means that nuclear bomb, right? It means electricity, it means power, it can mean many things.
Power.
So once you tell a developing country you cannot refine energy, it is basically putting the lid on development. And that automatically would have been rejected by the current regime. You know, I'm a Jamaican, to be clear. But my concern in it is that we can't live in a unipolar world and the current multipolar system is not strong enough to guarantee.
If you say Iran a try to build a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, I don't believe so. I believe they can be forced to get to that point, but this is why it would be difficult. The Ayatollah
sensible answer.
Right? The Ayatollah put out a fatwa and said no nuclear bomb. So I believe what they did was they enriched to a degree to create leverage.
In case.
Not necessarily in case, but to create leverage, because otherwise, how are you going to bring the U.S. to the table? You want to remove the sanctions, right? So I think they did that to create leverage, but they never expect the response would be this.
From Israel,
Because, we're totally surprised they have no air defense system with all of the tough talking. You know, with no air defense system functionable. So once they rule the skies, they're gonna complete the mission in terms of removing all of the threats to themselves. So we might see a couple more years of this action unless some politics come into place. You know, so more kind of just provide a kind of analysis on it, not isolated, but all over the world, what's going on. Russia is being downgraded. Iran is being downgraded. Tariff is seeking to downgrade China, right? So when you have that downgrade...
No, the tariff now downgrade China, you know, the tariff now downgrade China at all.
well, we will see. It's
no, man, the tariff now downgrade China. I tell you that.
Well,
you feel the tariff will go downgrade China. You feel the tariff will go downgrade China, right?
I mean, a downgrade can mean you make 5% in your GDP last year. I know you make 3. That is a downgrade. And that's,
when we say downgrade, it's like where the debt once you're going to go suffer now because of Donald Trump. I'm not telling you, say America are more suffer right now under the tariff than China.
I don't underestimate United States leverage,
No, I underestimate it because the chat and lie whether they tell. I feel say anyhow the tariff go on, America going to feel it more because not only China going to move away from him. Canada, Mexico, India, all of them, and China can't have them people there, which is not them I don't know. Them a move them things them to for China side of the world now. And don't bother with, and even Canada a move toward China in terms of moving them island and them something to China. There's nowhere China go bow to the brother there. And them know say I lie, I tell everything we must say. And them go back on everything we say, I go back on everything. That's why them call them taco. Trump always chicken out. Chicken out to the
I think they will reach a deal at some point.
No, they will reach a deal, but him not gonna have no leverage over China. Him gonna reach a deal, of course. Him have to reach a deal for film survival.
But, well, as I say again, we can't look on none of these incidents as isolated, symptomatic thinking demands that we connect all of the dots over the world.
Connect it already.
And this is what I'll come back to because you have Carla and stuff. Yeah. How this impact Africa. If Africa now have a strong China to leverage the US, if it now have a Russia where
but that are going now is China and Russia in Africa more than America,
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So
China this have an impact.
Russia are gonna have more inward road than America because Russia from them time they are help China. Help Africa. Even in South Africa, when certain things that happen, Russia did it. Other countries, Russia did it during war and this and that. Russia did it. So the African, they would have hold on for Russia more than America. Even the brother here, who name Traore there.
Yeah.
Russia right. Hold on for more than America,
Yeah, but Russia not strong as well as the
I tell you where happened.
They're Russian right now. And you know have a nuclear umbrella. Look at Iran. Iran under China nuclear umbrella.
Yeah, but
that should never happen.
Yeah, but me not say Russia stronger. Me not say Russia stronger, because I show you which part Africa I go. Me I tell you, me never say Russia stronger. Because I say the African them right now would have more go deal with the link between China, Russia, India, South Africa, and Brazil. Because Brazil a big market for them too, Brazil a very big market.
But when people can bomb you, you can't do nothing about it. Oh, you develop. It's like
I don't go bomb win war. I don't go bomb win war. I don't go bomb win war. I know the man with the biggest dick, I know him have the greatest sex, Big. I know too because I think bigger. I know the man with the biggest mouth are the baddest man,
But if we look at the current negotiation strategy, that is what's happening. The man with the biggest thing are win it.
Which part Trump are win? Where Trump win? Tell me.
They are win.
Eh?
Not winning, but
we can't hear you good now. You're gone. You're gone.
But there, man.
Yeah, where you say no, the man, what? How?
Him a wheel a stick. And what is going to happen? You will win a battle and lose the war.
No, him going to turn back. Him going to turn back.
This man not stopping. until something, there have to be a surprise element in the whole thing.
The surprise, all right, you see the people them who might run out the immigration thing. You hear him say the other day? You hear him say the other day about the people them who have worked there long for 20 years and the people them who employ them love them. They have to go back to the parliament or think about it. That parliament, the Congress go think about it. You never hear him say that?
Right, but all of that has to do with leverage within the United States. You know, the Democratic Party, all of that.
When I say, him guy and go deport all of the people them who have no papers there. And now him a turn back from that now. Him a turn back from that now.
I agree. He might go pivot. He might go pivot. Because the whole thing a negotiation.
He's going to turn back on everything where I do. Everything. I'm going to turn back right back on everything.
Right.
He can't sustain himself. He can't sustain himself. He can't America. Watch out. When you hear the brother when name Banner and Marjorie attack against him the war the other day, you know, you must know similar problem, you know. All the other idiot brother there, where it is depend facts and them fire him. Remember him again? Says Carlton. Remember him again?
Tucker
Carlton. You know, you Tucker Carlton and against him hard, him and Banner.
Yeah, but what? Yeah,
because them say, when I talk about go join war with, when I talk about put us in a war again and them to do that with Iraq already and lose. So what chance we have got?
Well,
if I turn back, the man with the biggest dick is not the man who have the best sex. Ask any woman that.
And they get your point. No, they get your point.
The man with the most back, hey, watch out, you ever read The Art of War yet?
Yeah. But
you ever read The Art of War? Read The Art of War. You don't agree with it? Well, me agree with it.
No.
Read The Art of War. I will just say you read it already. Well, me read it. I'm see the logics in how them say. I'm still maintain, not because you have the biggest mouth, it means that you are the body somebody.
The Art of War, a Chinese philosophy. You know, I work for Africans.
Vietnam man, me not talk about. Yo. Me never say it go work for Africa, you know. It work for where it work for me. Say me agree with it. Me never say it must work for Africa. Africa, maybe it can't work in even Iceland. You know what I'm saying? Just like how you have vegetarian. Right. Me not expect a vegetarian to go turn. Me not expect a man to go turn vegetarian in Iceland. It's just so. So, me understand that. And me I say, the Art of War is a good example of the man with the biggest mouth is not the baddest man. It's just like
I get that. No,
anyway,
I get that example.
We have to move. You call me back, you call me too late.
Yeah, man, war is good one of them days.
Call me back next week. Call me back next week.
The word pagan, anytime you man use the word pagan from the program, we have to beat it. Them use it to bring down African culture. And African culture, it will rise up.
No, but how pagan have to do with Africa?
No, the caller before me, he mentioned the word pagan in a derogatory state. So we have to realize...
The man, they are religious man, you know, them talk them thing there. Just like Obi and all them, so them talk everything. Pagan, you know, to me, pagan is a set of people who used to do the same thing like where I try there right now.
All right.
Live according to nature and all that. Anyway, we're gone here.
Respect.
Call me back, yeah.
One Uptown TV. One Uptown TV. Yo, enough there, me I represent. Bang.
Being representing a man for Uptown TV.